You're listening to A Radio.
Thank you for joining us. You're listening to A Radio, and this is The Morning Moment. Follow us on Spreaker.com and click on the like button. You can find us on most social media platforms such as iTunes, Spotify and iHeartRadio. Go to our website, aradio.wordpress.com, for details, where you'll find more content and details on our podcasts and more. This piece is taken from Fox & Friends, April 27. It's basically comments made, for the most part, by Newt Gingrich on China. I'm playing this piece because it's important to be heard. It must be heard. And secondly, as far as Canadians concerned, it exposes the fake response of the Liberal Communist Party of Canada. As far as I'm concerned, they are tied indisputably with China. This pandemic has obviously destroyed every Western country's economy. They are all spending billions of dollars to stave off economic disaster. In Canada's case, we've put billions onto our national debt with no chance of ever paying it back. And if we did, to whom would we pay it? Isn't that the question that should be asked? No, Trudeau has a lot to answer for. He clearly believes his future lies with the fate of China. I don't think Canadians feel that way, all for the sake of his fake carbon tax and foreign investment in Canada. At what cost? At what cost? Here's that piece. Oh, don't bother looking for it, by the way, because I expect that Fox News will have taken it down by now.
Could have contained it in Wuhan. They didn't. During that 6-week period, what they did was they vacuumed up the world for personal protective equipment, over 2 billion masks, depriving public health care workers around the world from the defenses they need. And today, China's profiteering basically from this situation. The Chinese Communist Party basically inflicted this virus on the world, and we should never forget that here in America.
Wow, that was Peter Navarro on our show a short time ago. Meanwhile, let's bring in Newt Gingrich to discuss this and what else China is doing around the world. He's a Fox News contributor, former Speaker of the House, and author of Shakedown. So before I have to ask you what Peter said that they did, and we know they did, keep in mind, too, the Daily Mail reporting the European Union already caved to pressure from the Chinese government regarding their disinformation, promoting what they've done since they inflicted this virus on the world and making them skew their communications in a positive way. They also today warned Australia that if you continue to probe what happened with this Wuhan virus, there might be a boycott of Australian goods by Chinese consumers. And the Daily Mail says the Communist Party of China spokesperson, they said they sparked backlash. And they said the president tweeted out, said that some people should be injected by disinfectant or at least gargle with it so they won't spread the virus. Lies and hatred when talking. So a Communist Party spokesperson taking action on us, the European Union, and Australia. What should we do about this?
Well, I think the first thing to do is to recognize, as the Hudson Institute's timeline makes very clear, this was caused by the Chinese dictatorship. They lied about it. The first case was in mid-November, and they were lying about it all the way through January. The University of Southampton suggested that 95% of the people who died would still be alive if the Chinese dictatorship had not lied to the world. And as you point out, and as Peter Navarro points out, they went around not just lying of their advanced knowledge to try to corner the market on a variety of public health goods in a way which is totally despicable. So let's just start with, we are competing with a dictatorship. which has no sense of honesty, which cannot be trusted, and which will use its muscle whenever it can. And we've got to design a strategy that recognizes these realities. One, we should make it possible for Americans to sue the Chinese dictatorship, just as we did, for example, after the Lockerbie bombing. We allowed Americans to sue, and they got, on average, $8 million per person, which probably in today's money would be about $11 million. So if every single person set the standard in the U.S. and then encourage the rest of the world, if people die, this is China's fault, they ought to sue the Chinese to get the money. Two, I think we should seriously consider basically putting all of the debt and all the Chinese assets in escrow so that they will pay these things. There's no reason for us to lie about who they are, and there's no reason for us to tolerate them running over the planet, killing several 100,000 people, causing tens of trillions of dollars of economic pain, and then getting away with it.
You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab, Spotify, and email. We're on Spotify under the podcast section. Type in Canadian Politics with a twist and you'll find us. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass these links on to your friends. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all our morning moments at Spreaker.com/A-Radio, EHRADIO, A-Radio. And please click on the like button. Join us Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 11:45 Eastern, and tell your friends and pass the word. We only tell the truth, not what the mainstream media want you to know.